What if I told you that Durin is a game changer? But it's not in the way you think. Okay, so why am I saying that he's a game changer? Well, it's cause in patch 6.2, many old monster characters are getting buffed, and in the last video, we discussed Venti, Klee and Albedo. So in this video, we'll discuss the remaining characters, namely Razor, Sucrose, Mona and Fischl, who are also receiving buffs and becoming magic characters. And you know what this means? It means getting you to spend on banners, which is why you should check out our sponsor for today, Top Up Live, which is a safe and reliable site to top up in-game at a large discount than the actual in-game prices. Just go to the site and search Genshin to see all available discounts with max discounts of up to 28%. They even have special bundles which guarantee enough crystals to get the character on the banner. All you need to do is enter your UID, select the server and use my code TREBLE to the payment and boom! You just got your gems in mere seconds. Do note that if your first time bonus is available, you'll get that discount as well. So use the link in the description to get some crystals today and use my code TREBLE to get an additional 12% off. Thanks to Top Up Live for sponsoring today's video, and let's get right back into it. So like I was saying, we are also getting buffs to existing monster characters, thus making many of them almost start to reach today's meta standards. So let's discuss the teams which will help you reach those DPS numbers along with the buffs to existing units. Do note that all the buffs to existing characters require 2 magic characters in the team to be activated. So Durin will be in many of the teams I discussed. Starting off with the simplest one, Sucrose, whose skill now also provides normal, charge, plunge, elemental skill and burst damage increased by 5.7%. And after doing the burst, the same set of skills are enhanced yet again by 7.1%. Additionally, if you have a C6, then magic characters in the team will also gain 8.5% extra elemental damage for the element absorbed by the burst. Overall, these buffs are not that significant because they do provide a little extra damage from other units, but nothing more. You see, Sucrose already had a solid kit beforehand, so she only got a minor buff and it changes nothing really. All the teams she was good in before, like Flint, still remain the same but deal slightly more damage. Now the teams I personally recommend you to play her in are the Vape teams with Mualani, with Candace and Durin. Candace is here to increase Mualani's shark bite damage, while Durin is in the dark form because his white form can't spread hydro anyway, so it's better to have dark form Durin here as that will result in more damage and also apply pyro for Mualani to hit. Another thing to note is that Candace is C5 in this team because C6 Candace will make it so that Durin is the one vaping and not Mualani. Now this team's DPS is kinda decent at 75,000 and not really insane, but you can choose to replace both Candace and Durin in this team with Mona and the current pyro queen Mauvika, and this skyrockets the team's damage to 110,000 because well, Mona's omen increases damage taken by the enemy and her witch passive and C1 also buff vaporized damage. As for Mauvika, she's just there being herself, doing damage and providing pyro for Mualani to hit. But you can also replace Mauvika with the pyro main character too, and this team's DPS is 81,000, which is decent I suppose. Another solid unit you can play her with is Arlecchino in the overwave team with Fischl and Mona, and this team calculates at 84,000 and is way more than the same team with Innefa because Fischl from her witch passive provides an attack buff which makes Arlecchino more than cover up the damage loss for using Fischl instead of Innefa, but this team isn't real as it's sustainless, and sustainless Arlecchino is a major pain. And finally, you can use her with Nuvolate too, and this team's DPS is 76,000, which is way less than other Nuvolate teams, so just don't use her in this team honestly. Moving on to Fischl, who now gives buffs when Oz is on field. You see, upon triggering Overload, Fischl herself and the active character gain 22.5% attack for 10 seconds, or if instead Electro Charge or Lunar Charge are triggered, then she and the active character gain 90 EM instead. On top of this, if you have her C6, then upon doing a coordinated attack, both attack and EM buff effects are doubled. Now this essentially gives her the supportive effect she needed to become a solid unit, like how Innefa provides a shield and Auroron has the hero set. The EM buff she gives makes her a viable alternative for Innefa in Flynn's teams, though this team is sustainless, so it'll be a pain to play since it does require Sucrose as the second magic character in the team to activate Fischl's buff. Another team where she's decent in are overwave comps like the one with Arlecchino, because here you're getting both Overload and Electro Charge, therefore you're getting 45% attack and 180 EM, though this team is is still not even close to her best team. But even when Fischl is just providing one of these buffs, it's still pretty solid like the core of Chevreuse, Fischl and Durin, with Durin acting as the second magic character in the team to activate the witch passives. Now pretty much any Electro or Pyro DPS can be slotted here, like Raiden, whose new best team is this team right here, calculating at 86,000, which is slightly over her current best team, which is Hyper Bloom with Loma, Enefa and Chincho. Cloran can also be used in this spot, and this team is her new best team with a DPS calculation of 100,000. You can also slot in Kaching, and this is a major improvement over her current best team, which is Lunar Charge. As for Pyro DPS, Yoimiya gets a significant upgrade over her current best team, which is Milt, but in this team you don't have a shielder, so you'll need to interrupt your normal attack cycle to dodge. Though the NA cycle interruption is more of an issue when you are reliant on reaction damage instead of raw damage. Another unit is Arlecchino, who can also be slotted here, and this team is almost on par with her current best Melt team, if not better. Now obviously, since this team doesn't have a healer, you might have to stay alive by using Arlecchino's burst, and this prevents accumulation of Bond of Life, so it might result in somewhat less damage. Other units which can be used here are Lini and Klee, like we discussed before. And finally, Razor also works here, cause not only is his electro damage getting buffed here, but also physical damage cause of the attack percent buffs by Fischl and Chevreuse. And if you have been enjoying this video so far, then a sub to the channel would make you win every 50-50. And if you want to support even more, scroll 2 inches down this video and click the subscribe plus button to join the channel memberships and gain exclusive perks like directly DMing me on Discord or even a Genshin account review. Now this team calcs at 86,000, which is a respectable number. But before we discuss his other teams, let's discuss the buffs to his kit. So first of all, his burst now does more electro damage, as its damage is increased by 70% of his attack, and while it's active, if electro sigils overflow, so basically you do tap E while having 3 sigils, then an extra electro hit equal to 150% of Razor's attack will be dealt along with regenerating 7 energy. Additionally, if you have a C6, he immediately gains 3 sigils instead of 1 each time you press the skill button, and whenever these sigils are consumed, so essentially the burst, he gains 10% crit rate and 50% crit damage, which is just insane. So coming back to the teams, if you don't mind circle impact, then Bennett is actually a better option here than Durin, with the team calculating at 90,000 DPS. Now if you don't want to play Fischl at all, then you can combine both Bennett and Durin in the same team, and this team is pretty solid with its DPS calculating at the same 90,000 like the previously mentioned team. Another unit which works here is Ian-san, but you gotta dash with Razor after every normal attack to keep Ian-san buff at max, so the rotation is slightly harder to play. Moving on to the last character, Mona, who is now a dedicated wave support, cause now doing her normal or charge attack grants 1 stack of something called Astral Glow, and each stack increases wave damage by 5%. So when a reaction occurs, it consumes all stacks and increases wave damage of that hit by 5, 10 or 15%. On top of this, doing normals or charge attack also increases the Omen's duration by 2 seconds, maximum being 8. This just means increased damage from Omen for a longer time. Additionally, her C1 grants 24% extra reaction damage bonus on enemies affected by Omen for all Hydro-related reactions. Now honestly, the teams where you'd be using Mona on field for driving are few and far between, like the team with Fischl, Strangling and Bennett, which calculates at 52,000, which is Copium Ultra Pro Max. Other than this, you're primarily using her for her Omen by extending its duration by doing a few of Mona's normal attacks in the rotation, gaining astral stacks and also activating the C1's effects for longer, thus making the main DPS do more damage. And the teams that work with that principle are what we already discussed before with Muolani or even Arlecchino. Overall, I think the buffs to magic characters at least made them usable again, if not god tier DPS. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with that cause I can use Razor again, which I'm kinda hyped about.